It is truly a Sunday fun day. Who knew that we could be so enthusiastic and positive? And we're loving it. We're going to talk about it. Here's Jonna, here's Lynn, and we're coming back right at you in just a hot second. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's The Upper Deck. This is probably already going to be one of my most favorite shows ever because of what the Yankees are doing and who they are at the moment. I am just going to keep breathing it in like it's oxygen. And it is oxygen because I'm this awake at 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. How you doing, Jonna? Jonna, how you doing?
I am so good, Len. I'm so good. The Yankees are just they're on fire, and I couldn't think of anything negative to say other than we do have one, but it's not a big deal. So
It's like literally Freaky Friday on a Sunday. It's opposite day. Usually we can't find something positive to say. But here we are. It's the show of sunshines and lollipops. So hey, John, Aiden, Frank, LV, FJ, good to see you guys. Thank you for being with us. So why don't we just jump to the way we always open the show, and that's with Spencer's trivia question of the week. Okay, so here we go, everybody. In 1985, two starting pitchers earned their 300th victory while facing the Yankees. Who were they? And just you got the whole show to think about it. We'll give you the answer at the end, and put your answers in the chat. I know that there's a lot of encyclopedia minds in our chat every week, so I'm looking forward to seeing your guesses in the chat. So thanks again, Spencer. Every week you come through for us. We hope you're doing well, my friend. So that brings us to our next segment. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? So much buzz. So much
buzz. Literally, what isn't buzzing right now, Len?
I don't know, but I feel like I'm glad I'm not allergic to bee stings because there's just so many going around right now. So what's the buzz in your ears, Jonna?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, we are obviously leading the AL. We're second in the AL. The rotation is just firing on all cylinders. The offense is firing on all cylinders. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And just like when we are in our negative zone, which is always, let's face it, the same is true. We gotta remember it's May. I know that we always say it's only April. May, we're approaching a moment of of seriousness, but early season, but getting late fast, and look where we are. Our team average is 681. And so, and like you said, for second place in all of MLB and first in the American League, and a 32-15 record. I don't understand these numbers. They do not compute.
Who is this team right now?
Who are you?
But we're on a 6-game winning streak, which is exciting. And we have won 13 out of our last 16 games.
I mean, yeah, I'm more of a words girl, but these numbers are hitting really good right now. And there was some information about all of the 1-run 3-game series we've had. So Johnny, you have something on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, Minnesota was amazing, right? 3 3 games. We swept the Twins. This was the first time we had held a team to we had gone a 3-game series, holding the other team to 1 run. It was the first time we had done that since 1999 in the ALDS against the Rangers, in which we held them to 1 run across 3 games. However, as Lynn noted, it is the first time we've done that in the regular season since 1952 against Boston. Incredible.
That is just...
The rotation was just unreal. We gave up in the first run we gave up was in the first inning of game 1. And so we went 26 innings. No, I'm sorry. We went 33 innings after that straight without allowing a run.
I mean, that's mind-blowing. And it looks like in the regular season, this has only happened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. And that was going all the way back to 1904. So from 1904 till now, this has only happened 6 times in the regular season. So, I mean, again.
And this is all without Garrett Cole. Like, that is what is just so mind-blowing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to wonder, actually, I really don't have to wonder, but there are some pitchers I could think of that would be worried, like, oh, I guess I'm not so important to this team.
Right. But he's so confident, and he knows his role and his importance, and he knows
absolutely,
yeah.
So he didn't quite get the judge factor experience in terms of team production when he's out, but like I said last week, he is making such good use of his time in a way that's helping everyone else. And I wish that there was like an extra super duper Cy Young, premier award for that, because
Right.
find me another pitcher anywhere that would do that.
Yeah.
It's just that alone, first round Hall of Famer. I mean, come on.
Yes. Yeah. And I know I say this every week, but it still rings true. And I think I saw someone even comment this on Twitter where they were like, a lot of times when a player like Garrett Cole is like rehabbing, he's just straight rehabbing. He's not traveling with the team, and you really don't see him a lot. That is not true for Garrett Cole. He is contributing in ways that like we don't even comprehend because we don't see it. But he is, I mean, we know he knows the game in and out, and that he's doing all this work behind the scenes, giving them feedback during the game. And yeah, he's going to make a tremendous like coach or manager or something someday.
Absolutely. I mean, and speaking of coaches and managers, they have his ear too, because I see them, shots in the dugout, and they're walking up to him and whispering in his ear, more than him going to them. So he's definitely seen as a leader by the leaders. So can't want more than that. And I just want to say, hey, Michael, hey, Frank, good to see you. Welcome. New to us this morning, and thanks for following us on Twitter. And hey, Dev, hey, Karen. So I got some guesses, by the way, and I just want to say to those of you that have said Tom Seaver, Gaylord Perry, you may or may not be on the right track. Who knows? I forget the answer already, so I'm not sure. Maybe. Okay. So this is interesting, and actually, I was going to bring this up. So Michael's asking, I still wonder if a 6-man rotation is a possibility, at least for a short period of time. And Frank asked that as well. And actually, there was a thread about this on Twitter. I don't forget whose. What do you think about that, Jana? What would be the benefit of a 6-man, and do you see the Yankees pivoting to that while Cole's out?
I mean, I think the only benefit would be like that would allow Cole to ease back in, but I think it could be a really bad thing. Like, think about if we had 2 2 days off for rain delays or something. That puts guys out not pitching for 9, 10 days.
Right. Right. And hey Frank, good morning. And also it
Yeah, they're on a hot streak. Like, why, like, throw a bump in the road there? Like, you're just adding more variables there that could really, yeah, strike zone. I totally agree.
right, exactly. And you know who's the biggest creature of habit of all? Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole, who couldn't take it when the game was 3 minutes late because of the national anthem. Um,
Right, and Stroman too. I think he's
and
very
Stroman,
like,
definitely, most
yeah,
definitely. And the other thing is bringing a sixth guy up, unless you're thinking about someone from the pen, then we're really just testing and hoping. And what would be the point of that? And who goes down if
yeah,
we're bringing somebody up? So so Frank's like, okay, all right, I'm done with that topic. I agree. Um, Next question is, who goes to the pen? Um, so we've been having that conversation a lot. Um, and what's weird about this week is Nestor had to go ahead and have a stellar game. Um, and so and Heel just lights out, and we'll talk about some of his numbers in a little bit, but those have been the two contenders. We certainly know time was where we were talking about Schmidt. That conversation's over. um,
mm-hmm,
and so
absolutely.
um,
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking the same thing with the strike zone is saying here is that I think what the Yankees will probably do is send Heel down, but it's, I mean, that's such a tough call to make. But then when you look at Nestor's numbers at home and you're thinking ahead to like postseason, I mean, it's, I don't know. Heel is a little bit of a basket case, and so you wonder how he would handle that kind of pressure, right?
yep,
Because he's done pretty well up to this point at coming back from setbacks, but a lot of that has to do with the offense providing some of the insurance runs there. Like, what if they're not able to do that? And then is he able to mentally come back from a setback if something like I'm thinking ahead long term to like postseason.
right, yeah. And Nestor has the experience, and Heel does not. And maybe the decision factor is the thing, is the tiebreaker. And also the maturity factor. It's very hard to remember because of the way he's performing, how young Heel is, how new to the show he is, and so to treat him as a veteran rotation guy is unfair to him, although he, I'm sure thinks of himself that way. And so yeah, so that's an interesting thing. And but from what I read on that thread about this, I was surprised at how many thought it would be a good idea. And some were split about until Cole gets back and even after Cole returns. But I think we are on point with, no, don't mess with success, and don't mess with the dynamics, and don't mess with the order, by the way, because that's
Yeah,
something else. Like, just the way the guys are gelling on, in the lineup. Don't fix what isn't broken, and just
agreed.
leave that the way it is.
Yeah,
Um,
agreed.
right. So yeah, strike zone. I thought he was even younger. Maybe it's because of the pouting and stomping, but yeah. So he's same age as Soto. Soto much more mature than Heel, but two different experiences, two different positions. But yeah, and he hasn't, right. I mean, he's new to town. All right, so then let's then get to the next part of. Oh, and I also wanted to mention that Um, there were some stats out about top exit velocity across MLB and top distances. I think I got this from Sarah Lang's. Um, so top exit velo, Stanton and Judge are mentioned, and amidst Andrew Vaughn, Adolis Garcia, and Brendan Rodgers. So those are the top five in MLB, with Stanton being first, Judge being second. And in terms of for distances of hits, Rafael Devers is in first place, Aaron Judge is in second place. And behind them are Lars Nootbaar, Randall Grichuk, and Shea Langoliers. So that I thought was interesting to mention. And but on a bit of sadder news, we have some injury reports and updates. So we know that our key down dogs, there's I think three of them really at the moment that we're talking about. So Jonna, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously Cole is working his way back in, and sounds like he's having a pretty good recovery so far. He's up in the 90s now. So he's looking good. DJ LeMahieu had his first game back, well, his like second game back, I guess you could say, because he did attempt another game earlier that didn't go so well. So he played with Somerset on Friday and played 3 innings, went 1 for 2. And so he had a hit in his first at bat. And they said they would kind of assess as they go. And so depending on how he felt, they were going to have him play again today. So we'll see if he makes it a little further in the game today or what. But they're easing him back in, and supposedly he looks good, feels good. So that's where that's at. Yeah, they did say that he could return to the lineup on the Yankees West Coast trip, but if he did, they said it would definitely be toward the end of it. So that's where that's at. And then Dominguez is obviously rehabbing as well. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like everyone's on the right path. I guess Tommy Canley as well, which we mentioned last week. He's like nearing the end of his rehab as well.
I can't wait to have Tommy back personally. So Michael's asking, is July 1 realistic for Cole? Earlier or later?
I think a lot of people are saying like maybe the All-Star break, but it's tough to say, right?
Right.
Because we know Garrett Cole, and if he's feeling good, then I mean, he's gonna do what he wants to do, and
Right.
yeah, I could see July 1st, but I think realistically, probably more like All-Star break.
Right. And they'll listen. Cole, he'll, like you said, Cole is conservative, and I think that he'll be one to know that he shouldn't rush and won't rush. And so All-Star break seems like a million years away, but if that's what it takes for him to know that he's 150%, which is probably his standard, I would think, then let's do that. My concern is about DJ and the number of times he's been rushed back.
Yeah.
And with our infield being what it is right now, and plus other options, why rush him back? And so I'm not all that concerned at the pace right now, and wouldn't mind if that pace continued a bit. He is one that I wouldn't mind seeing after the All-Star break. What do you think about his timeline, Jonna?
Yeah, it's so tough to say, because how many times have we heard them say like he looks good, he's running good, he feels good, and then like boom, he's out again. So I think it's just really tough to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think a lot of us are in the camp of like definitely absolutely no reason to rush him back, because I mean, look how we're doing without him. I hate to say it, but
That's right.
you
That's
know.
right. And the difference is, because we just said the same about Cole, is the difference is the depth in the infield too. We have a rotation that better not like sneeze wrong because we want it to
Yeah.
stay the way it
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
And whereas DJ, were he to come back earlier than perhaps necessary, um, then he should just sit and like be a pinch hitter or something like that. I wouldn't want to see him in the lineup right away, and that's going to be interesting too because he's not going to be leading off. I don't know if he'll be leading off ever again.
No,
So, and he won't be in the top four. So, it's going to be weird, but I personally think we need to get adjusted to the idea of him being a bottom of the lineup person.
agreed. Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
mean, he really ideally could be a pretty good, decent guy to turn the lineup over. So I think he would be a perfect spot at the end of the lineup.
right. It's almost a pre leadoff.
Right, exactly.
So, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree, NFE. Yankee, they'll find a way for anyone that they want. My concern, remains like what I said at the top of the show that maybe just don't mess with the top five. Let's just keep the top five solid, and if you're going to put him on a position spot, then lower down. But because defensively we need him. My concession would be, I feel protective of DJ. It's not about DJ the player. It's about past history with DJ. And, just kind of like with Rizzo, a history of coming back too soon, I think, because it keeps happening and happening and happening. So, I think, but you know what? I wouldn't mind Glaber sitting more
Yeah.
and get DJ on second. And, it's true that, we're just so rich between Birdie and Cabrera. And is Peraza coming back, and when? There's just going to be so many options there, and sometimes options could cause could be a detriment. I think in some way, which is kind of ironic. And if he's saying he'd put DJ at the sixth or seventh spot, um, and 100%, like I said, NFE, we've missed his defense at times. I'd
Yep.
say pretty often because of Glaber. Um, so until Glaber's more consistent, which who knows when that will be? Will it be before he has to resign? Let's hope so. Um,
Right.
so so there's that. Hey, CWE, good to see you. So we are now at this is going to be a favorite one for today. In the doghouse. Who's been a bad dog? Um,
Nobody, but I mean the only thing like I could think of is Hal, because let's just throw him there because we need to occupy the doghouse, but he's
yeah,
the only bad like semi bad dog. Sign Soto. Lock him in.
right. Yeah. I mean, Hal, come on. You have a history that is very dubious and has really freaked us out and caused us mental, duress. So, um, what are you waiting for? And you've already, by the way, good luck, 'cause you've already put it out there that you want to talk to Boras, or however you say it,
Yeah.
Borat. But anyway, so um, I don't care about Scott, but you said it and we heard it, so you are on the hook, my man. And if you're going to wait till after the season, you're going to give us post-traumatic stress. um,
Yes.
because there's so many hovering. And now that you said that publicly, don't think that Cohen isn't in his lab coming up with sinister plots again.
Right.
So
Yes.
just sign now. I don't know what you would be waiting for. And so NFE, I think a deal will get done before the season ends. Yep. That was going to be my hot take. I guess not so hot and special. Yeah. I he better. Yeah, and you're right. It was kind of out of character for him to, speak like that. So maybe the conversations have already sort of gone happened a little bit. Um and oh, good to know that, they have a good relationship. And oh, we're on Glaber there, Michael. 1 second. Hal is nuts if he hasn't signed Soto, but I really believe Soto wants to stay. So there's that. Stay. Yes, he does.
Mhm.
Without, he can't say that he wants to resign here, and the press gets so annoying. I know they're just doing their job, but like he's going to answer that. Like just leave the guy alone. But yeah, he said one thing he did say was that the fans are what makes Yankees being a Yankee so special. The energy we bring, and I mean, he's showing it every night. He just loves it.
Yeah, and I certainly think he's like creating relationships like among the teammates and stuff. So
That is so clear. Did you did you notice during the game, and even Flash and Paul were talking about this yesterday, that Soto was very obviously talking to somebody on the field, like with his hands, like like making little hand motions and smiling. Did you
yeah.
catch that? What the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but he seems like he's always kind of like not flirting, but like, he's definitely always interacting with Judge too, which is like very endearing to me.
Yep, yep, and yeah, I think there's no doubt. I loved after his second home run, Rizzo was well, Rizzo would always be at the plate, but um, Rizzo tapped his bat on the plate as he was running towards home, like
Yeah.
and yeah, I think that he is like fully embraced and embedded in the crew there, and so. And Glaber loves being a Yankee too, but um, so that re-signing I think will take much longer. And Hal has not said anything publicly about Glaber the way he has about Soto.
Yeah,
So I
I
don't know if
totally
there
agree.
is lining on the, if that's like any sort of writing on the wall or not. Um, yeah, so NFE, if you have any theories about what that might have been, put it in the chat. I'm like, what did that mean? I need to know. Um,
Yeah, I
so
think like we just have so many other guys that we need to be worried about locking down too. Like, I mean, Clay Holmes, to me, that's a no-brainer that they've got to get him locked down after this season too. So,
yeah,
um, yeah, I just don't see Glaber being on the priority
yeah,
list, unfortunately. Well,
yeah.
I
That
don't know if that's unfortunate, but yeah.
yeah. Strike Zone says the same. I don't know how everyone else in the chat feels, but and I feel bad because Glaber loves being a Yankee. And he's loved in the clubhouse, and the fans were not terrible to him, and most other players would be terrible with him by now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think everyone kind of has a spot for Glaber, but yeah, it's just I think he could be, a king of the hill somewhere, in a smaller market, a different market. And but yeah, I think the writing's on the wall there. And so we have to say that, oh yeah, NFE, yeah. So yeah, I hope we get a public statement about this too really soon. Yeah, absolutely. And 6 months ago, I would be fighting with you, NFE. I'm a convert, and it didn't take me long during spring training and the early start of the season to convert. Um, but Jana look, I'll say it. Jonna has always been like, he is my closer. So you just knew, and you were right, Jonna.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. Yeah,
so
I
go
just
ahead.
have always had confidence in him, and yeah, but I mean, at this point, like nobody can deny it, right? The zero
No,
ERA through, gosh, how many like innings does he even have under his belt now?
no, it was an excellent call. So and may he stay there. And I think that there's some guys we brought up that are younger that eventually will be easy. I'm not going to mention them yet, but there's one in particular I'm thinking of that he could be our closer in about 4 or 5 years. So, but Holmes is young too, so hopefully we won't need to make that decision. The guesses are still coming in on trivia. Question of the week. I'm just going to say nobody has gotten both of them right yet. That's all I'm going to say about that so far. All right. So the dogs in the yard, the good dogs, the dogs that are woofing in the clubhouse and growling at their opponents. So, um, look, I'm going to say right off the top that Nestor is in the court, is in the yard because he has a 1.27 ERA in 35.1 innings at home this season. So,
Yep.
um, you
Compare
know,
that's compared to a 6.75 outside of Yankee Stadium.
yep,
Um,
absolutely.
and that's over 25 and a third innings outside of the Bronx. So it is a crazy split, and he did say that he's working on that. He's trying to hone in like why that is, because that is a drastic difference. So
Yeah. And it seems that um, I forget who was in the booth on Friday, but a little bit more practice has happened with his change and his cutter. So so some progress there. He just has to be consistent with it though, and but that outing again made us nervous at the beginning, but just stellar after that. So got out of a few tough situations. So he's there for me. Stanton is always there for me, even when he does bad, because
yeah.
let's face it,
Yeah.
yeah. And so um, the numbers, the leap in his batting average, and again, not just although he did leave the yard a couple of times, also still getting on base and just
Yeah.
I mean he is just he's back. He's full on back and
Yeah, his last game, as you mentioned, his on base percentage is 414 in his last 7 games. That's crazy for like that's not the John Carlos Stanton we've known the last few years at all.
no, uh,
He's
no,
also batting 393 in his last 7 games.
wow, wow.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's good to have more people in our camp because I know you love them too, Jonna. So
yes.
I usually don't like the competition. I want him to myself, but I'm happy to have.
You're willing to share him with me?
I'm willing to share
Oh,
it with you, of course, but with as many people that want to jump on board because there's been few of us, Jonna. Um,
yes.
yeah. So who's on your list? Who's in the
Yeah,
dirt and
well,
who else?
so Volpe is actually on an 11-game hitting streak. So he's like
Yeah.
quietly. I think he's quietly, and I think it's because he has been a little under the radar because like Stanton and Judge are standing out so much, and Soto with his 4 for 4 and all that. So I think he's just slipping under the radar. But like, yeah, he's getting on base. He had a little bit of a lull like last week, but it seems like he's clicking again. So he's in the yard for me. And obviously the one we both would want to mention is Heel, which we already kind of mentioned earlier. But yeah, 14 strikeouts in 6 innings, which like that's That's crazy. That's a new record for a single season rookie, right?
Yeah.
Um, and it was so odd. And like baseball, especially Yankees baseball, is so poetic because who throws out the first pitch yesterday is El Duque, and he held that record before.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy. And it
You can't
reminded
manufacture
me,
that.
yeah, and it reminded me of like, well, also I find it odd that Nestor had such a crazy good outing on David Wells's perfect game
Yeah.
anniversary. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, probably a lot of listeners know this, but when Coney threw out his perfect game to Girardi, Don Larson threw he threw the first pitch in that game, the ceremonial pitch to Yogi, which that was crazy too.
Wow. All right. So somebody get Nostradamus on the line because I feel like, you know,
Right?
another dynasty is coming and it's here and it's now.
Yeah. It's just wild to me how, and Jeter always said there's like just there's like weird things like that and happen in baseball that you can't make this stuff up.
Right. Well, yeah. Keep it going because we're primed and ready for it. That is for sure. And you know, so the other thing to mention, Clay in the yard, he's still at a 0 ERA. Um, um, for how many games, Jonna? I don't remember, but yeah, Hal is
Yeah,
nuts, Frank.
19 games.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if he's not your closer, I don't know who would be. And you're right, Frank. He would be nuts if he doesn't resign. Yeah, and he will, and maybe he'll be the next public mention. Who knows? But um,
You know,
absolutely.
I think Luke Weaver should be thrown into this bucket too, which we've talked about him the last few episodes, but he flies under the radar a little bit too, but 2.25 ERA in 16 games now. So he's certainly straightened his stuff out from his first few outings, and he's become, I think, our most reliable like innings eater at this point because I don't know what's going on with Hamilton, but he looks like he's hurt.
Yeah, yeah, agree. Hamilton's not it, and Birdie, isn't it either at the moment. We'll see what comes with him. So
Ferguson definitely isn't.
Ferguson for shizzle is
Yeah.
for shizzle. And okay, so holla, woo, woo, woo. Let's hope so. I'm gonna hunt hope down if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's incredible news for the bullpen because it's true that like they do make you a little nervous, but
Yeah, and by the way, Luke, Canely and Luke together is going to be a hot mess, and I'm going to be here for it.
oh, absolutely. The
I mean,
vibes in that dugout or in that bullpen. Oh my
yep,
gosh. I just
they're
want to be a fly on the wall.
yeah, exactly, because they're both goofballs, and I'm always here for a goofball. And yeah, well, you know what? Tonkin and his mustache can be found elsewhere. That's okay. And that would be the right move. So yeah, I mean the yard is crowded and I'm loving it. And so let's see what we got next. Okay, so we have the dogs on the farm with the prospects.
I just have one really funny thing to mention here. Actually, I'll mention a couple things. So Peraza is back. He started his rehab assignment in Tampa and made his way to Somerset, and he's kind of been raking there. So that's awesome. Um, but Clayton Beater went 5 innings on I think it was Wednesday's game.
Yeah.
5 innings, struck out six, and two of his six strikeouts were against Joey Gallo, which I find to be hysterical because he is who was traded for he yes, he was traded nearly 2 years ago for Joey Gallo. I find that so funny.
More
I don't
poetic
know why.
justice. More poetic justice. Oh.
Yes, exactly. Poetic justice. And Pereira also had a 2-run walk-off this week. So, let's see.
Okay.
And the Renegades, they won 6 straight games in the last week. So
Wow. And Jeter Downs had a good game on Wednesday also, right?
he
Jeter
did. Yeah, he had sorry, I think that was Thursday's game.
Thursday. Okay.
Had a 3-run go ahead in that game. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean that's awesome there too. So, um, all right, and I guess we're at the next part of what we like to get to, and this is for you also, Chad. Hot takes of the week. Um, what haven't we put out there that you think isn't necessarily everybody else's idea or opinion right now? You got any, Jonna?
It's really tough to come up with hot takes right now because it seems like everything is just clicking so well. Like the last few weeks, it's been that this is such a good problem to have. I guess one thing I'm thinking ahead to is the All-Star game. And in 2022, we had 5 guys represented the Yankees on
Yeah.
the 2022 All-Star game. And so I could see us rivaling with that. Like I see a lot of guys on right now that could be potential all-stars. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what Bruce Bochy decides to do. But this Yankees rotation is making it very easy for him where he could just be like, well, let's just throw all the Yankees in there.
Yeah. I,
So
I I think the All Star voting is going to be insanely heavily loaded for the Yankees. So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see who else makes the teams, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So my hot take was Strike Zone had the same I about Hal doing the right thing and Soto signing, and speaking of All Star break, before, after, but right around that time, and really, I also think I want to throw down now that this will be Stanton's fully healthy season, that we've seen also, haven't seen for the past few years. Like and if he said earlier in the chat, I saw, he did his body good. He did his body right. Not that there was anything wrong with his body before. Obviously very athletically built and well trained, but the changes he made and how that's also transformed him, it seems, with his mental approach and energy that he brings. Um, yeah, we're not, no IL is my hot take. I'm booking it on May 19th. No IL for Stanton this entire season.
let's just put that good juju out there now.
Yes. Yeah. And if you want to keep
With all of our fingers and toes crossed.
that's right. If you want to keep the receipts and come at me if I'm wrong, I'll be ready for it, but you're not going to have any receipts. Um, So, anything else on your mind? Hey, Nosebleed, good to see you. Didn't see you come in. Hey, Joe, didn't see you come in either. Thanks for being here. Anything else on your mind before we get to the trivia question of the week?
I mean, we get a 4-game series with Seattle this week, so that's gonna be interesting and exciting, and then we go out on the road for the West Coast series. So West Coast series meaning 3 series on the West Coast, which I'm excited for, obviously, because I will be in San Francisco for the Giants series.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm propelling forward. I'm very excited for that.
Yep. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing how we do on the West Coast. And looking forward to what I also am predicting, and I don't think it's a hot take, that we're going to sweep.
And I cannot wait to see what Soto does in San Diego.
That is going to be super interesting. His homecoming there.
And then
Um,
it'll be like a little reunion for us too, right? Because we'll get to see King and
oh,
Higgy,
yeah.
and I know.
Oh
And
God,
maybe Wandy, probably Wandy, I would think.
yeah. Oh God, that's gonna. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Oh,
very
heartbreak.
bittersweet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so lots to look forward to, including today's game. And we're not dreading going into today's game. We've always already won the series. This will just be the cherry on top, and I think we're going to get it the full Sunday today.
Yeah,
Full
let's
Sunday.
get a
We're going to eat
second
the full Sunday on
consecutive
Sunday.
sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. No reason why it can't be. All right, ready for the answer. And here it is. Who were the two starting pitchers who won their 300th game in 1985 against the Yankees? Phil Necro. Necro? I think it's Necro. Phil Necro and Tom Seaver. So lots of Seaver guesses, some other really good guesses in the chat earlier. But there you have it. Tom Terrific and Phil Negro. So thanks again, Spencer, for the trivia question of the week. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Applause to you for all of your comments and weighing in on the topics. Yeah, I know they should win, but this is baseball, Michael. I know, but stop at they should win today. Just like stop there. That's what's going to happen. They
Yeah.
should, they will. Okay. And so, Jonna, thanks as always, and everyone in the chat. Thank you again. I'm going to keep thanking you. Um, and so, but don't forget to hit that like button before you sign off. If you haven't subscribed to the Pinstripe Chronicles channel, please do that. Ring the bell. It costs nothing, but it sends good juju out into the world. There's our follower at Twitter, including the one for our show, The Upper Deck, and Pinstripe Chronicles, our family of which we are a part. They are on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. And there's guys in the chat that have their own shows. I'm looking at you, NFE. Check out the Strike Zone and his YouTube channel. And to all of you, you'll always have a reserved seat with Jonna and me right here on the upper deck. Let's go, Yankees!
Go Yanks!